Hey, what's up, guys? Britton back again with another video. Today I want to talk about astrology and conception. I know quite a few people who have tried to conceive as to produce a certain sun sign in their kid, and in every case that I know of, it has failed. Or even if the sun sign came out right, they ended up having some moon sign that countered that. That was, more difficult. So this sort of thing never seems to work out, and I think it is indicative. That fact is indicative of sort of the greater purpose and the greater meaning of astrology. So we have to get clear on first why it is that you should get into astrology, if at all. And that is for the same reason as you would get into any other personality system. That's to first understand yourself better and to improve yourself and to also understand other people and to be more forgiving of them and less expectant of them. Like I always say, sure, curiosity may have killed one or two cats, but expectation has left many more dogs starving and alone. So yeah, you shouldn't do this, and I could actually make a moral case for this as well. But first of all, astrology is not it's not meant to be prophetic. It's not meant to be a predictive tool. There are certain ways to study astrology that can, and certain aspects, certain progressions that will indicate that things may turn out one way or another if you flow with the natural, the natural progression that your life would take if, all things being equal, no major life events would sort of shoot you off course from that or anything like that. But again, you can't predict the future, so shit happens to everyone, and for lack of a better word. And so you have to just flow with that and accept things as they are and move forward and make an intervention not from ego but from your deeper connection to truth and purpose. And so studying astrology can put you more in touch with your deeper truth and purpose, because it really is like any other personality system, whether you're talking about Big Five, Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, it doesn't matter. Astrology, your natal chart is your coding, regardless of the layers of conditioning that are stacked on top of that. It's about who you are at the core, how you are at the core. But you still have free will. You can still intervene when necessary and when not necessary, So this attempt to produce a baby with a particular sun sign ends up backfiring because it comes from ego. You're messing with nature. You're messing with the trajectory that nature has put you on. Rather, you should take your ego out of the conception equation altogether and just have procreative sex whenever it's natural, whenever you have that connection with someone, and whenever you're really just expressing your deeper love for your partner. I'm a firm believer in not having a kid because you want a kid, but not only, but having a kid because you're already mentally and emotionally and financially prepared for that, but also because you have a deep connection with this person who you're going to procreate with. And so it can be fun, to try to produce a baby with a certain sun sign, but it will probably end up backfiring because you are intervening with nature's path, so to speak. And if you do that, it's okay to do that as long as you don't really care about the result at the end. If you really care, then it's going to go wrong. If you're a Pisces and your partner is a Pisces and you want to have a Pisces baby, you better be okay with having an Aquarius or an Aries baby. Actually, this which are two of the more difficult signs to deal with, especially when they're kids, both rebellious, both can be pretty hot-headed, and you're not going to necessarily have a cool little Pisces baby if you try to, squeeze that birth within that tight month. And it is tight if you're trying to produce that result. So anyway, this actually takes me to a deeper point about the morality of this. I could argue on a higher level that it's kind of morally wrong to tamper with nature in this way. And this, brings up the famous debate between deontology and consequentialism in moral philosophy. How deontology is about acting for the sake of good itself without, without trying to produce, without the intention to produce a certain result, but acting for the sake of good itself out of obligation and duty to what is true and what is good. And accepting the consequences as they are. And knowing that, you did the right thing, and regardless of what happens, it will, in the much longer run, produce better results for you, And then consequentialism on the other side, which is the wrong moral philosophy, I would make a strong case for, and have in the past, that you are acting in order to produce a consequence. That is an ego move. There's no other way to look at it, That is you resisting the flow of nature. That is you putting your selfish goal, which you can choose. You can choose any goal, regardless if that goal itself is right or wrong. And then that end justifies the means, so to speak, So I think that trying to produce a baby with a certain sun sign is an instance of that, instance of a consequentialist moral action. So, don't do it. Another thing on conception and astrology is, so my mother, without, giving you too many details, my mother always seemed like a very, proper lady, not really looking to give it up all that often. And my dad is, we don't call him Wild Bill for nothing, and I'll leave it at that, But I figured out, I did the math on it one day, and I figured out that my parents conceived me on my dad's birthday. And then they conceived my younger brother on my first birthday. And then they conceived my other brother on my middle brother's fourth birthday. It's crazy. So what this means is, because a birth comes 9 months, roughly, after conception, what this means is each person whose birthday it was, their sun sign is squared to that next baby's sun sign. So signs that are 9 months apart are squared. So my parents, I figured out, that those were basically the 3 times that my mom let my dad have sex with her, right? Which is funny, because it produced astrologically tension and a butting of heads between those two people each time. So my dad and I have squared sun signs. My middle brother and I have squared sun signs. My middle brother and my youngest brother have squared sun signs. So that's another thing, not flowing with nature, right? Using sex as a tool, as a weapon, as a reward, and procreating on someone's birthday, saying, like a wife saying to her husband, "Hey, it's your birthday, or it's our kid's birthday. It's a special occasion. Let's have sex," instead of having sex when you both mutually want to have sex. If a baby results from that reward-based endeavor, it is going to be squared with the sun sign of whoever's birthday it is. So just something to keep in mind and to also not do when you're thinking about conceiving a child. Look, you can't control consequences. You can only control how you react to them. So do good for the sake of itself. Speak, act for truth's sake, for good's sake, not to produce a consequence. Carry an indifferent mindset, but a grateful attitude toward those consequences that do occur. And only then can you really achieve a higher level of, life satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness. And ultimately, why do we get into personality? To understand ourselves better, to improve ourselves so that we're more satisfied with how we are. And we can be more forgiving of other people. And also strive to do good and on the basis of what is good and true, for no other purpose than itself, and to be authentic in that. And you can only be authentic and do any of that if you do have a certain degree of self-awareness, which I think personality studies, especially astrology, can afford you. So anyway, that's my video today. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.